Hi, this is Scott with I Want My MVC, and today we're going to look at how to set up an external login for Google using ASP.NET MVC. Let's get started. So I've got Visual Studio 2015 open here. I'm going to click on New Project and select the ASP.NET Web Application option. I'm going to provide a name here, which is going to be Google External Login. And then I am going to clear out the Add Application Insights to Project option and click OK. The next thing I'm going to do is select MVC template and individual user accounts and click OK. Notice I also had Azure unchecked. I'm not going to be using Azure for this demonstration. And now it's just going to take a minute while Visual Studio creates my project for me. We've got the progress bar continues to show. And once Visual Studio is completed with that, the progress bar will go away and we should see a number of files show up in the Solution Explorer. And here we are. So the next thing that I need to do is enable SSL for my project. I just got to go to Project Properties and change SSL Enabled to True. And then I'm going to copy the SSL URL because there are a couple other places where we need that. I'm going to right click on the project and go to Properties. Next, click on the Web tab, and if I scroll down here, I can specify my project URL, so I'm going to paste that previously copied URL there, hit Save, and close the project properties. So now we're all set for the project to use SSL. The next thing I'm going to do is go to console.developers.google.com so that I can add a new project there, which is basically registering my application with Google. I'm going to click the plus to add a new project, and I just have to provide a project name. I'm going to call this one Local Testing 2. I already have a local testing, which is why I'm going with Local Testing 2. So we'll click Create. And you'll see at the top there's a different project name right now. I'm going to have to change that over to the project that I actually want to work with, and Google's still creating it. There we go, it's finished. So I'll click on Local Testing 2, and now I've got to create credentials and select OAuth Client ID. Once I've done that, I need to click on Configure Consent Screen. I've already provided my email address. Now I'll provide a product name, which is Local Testing 2 once again. And then I'm going to paste in that URL that I'd copied earlier from my Visual Studio project. And finally I'm going to click Save. Next thing you have to do is specify the application type, which is Web Application. And then provide a name. I'm just going to say, once again, Local Testing 2. For authorized JavaScript origins, I'm going to paste my same URL. You do need to get rid of that / at the end. And then I'm going to paste my URL for authorized redirect, and then you've got to add signin-google at the end of that. OWIN does require that URL in order for this to work. And now Google provides me with a client ID and a client secret. I copy the client ID, went back into Visual Studio, open up startup.auth.cs, and there's a block of code that we need to uncomment. You can see it says app.use Google authentication. We want to uncomment that. Then we can paste in our client ID. Once we've done that, we go back to the developer console and copy the client secret. And now we can go into Visual Studio and paste that into our Visual Studio project. Once we've done that, we can save our changes. I'm going to rebuild the solution. And we were able to rebuild without any errors. Now I click on Internet Explorer to start my debugging session. Now Internet Explorer is going to report this certificate as being, or the site as not being secure. It's because I'm using a self-issued certificate with IIS Express. Just click more information, then go on to the web page. There's no need for concern there. At least for local testing, you'd want to use a real certificate for production. And it's just going to take a minute here while the site loads. There you can see our site has loaded. I do need to go back, actually remembered another thing. Go to Library in the Developer Console for Google. And you want to look for Google Plus, because we do need to enable the Google Plus API. So scroll, well, you don't have to scroll there. We can click Enable. And Google is enabling that for us. Once the enabling is completed, we should be all set to go ahead and test our new ASP.NET web application. So I'm going to click on Login. And what you'll see is we have once this page loads here, there's a newly added button. This Google button is added when we uncomment that Google block of code. So I clicked on that. Now it's going to ask me which account I want to use. I clicked on an account. Then Google says I've successfully authenticated, and I can just click Register. And now you can see up at the top that I am logged in with my Google account. And I'll click on that link right there, and it will show me a little bit more information about that. You can see I've got one external login configured at this point. So that is all there is to setting up a Google external login for ASP.NET MVC. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I guess if you've got any questions on it, feel free to leave a comment below.